Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Homestand TV. I'm your host, Celine Tremarky, alongside my co-host, Justin Pooney. The Leafs won back-to-back games this weekend.
That they did.
They won 6-2 against the Philadelphia Flyers last night. 6 different players ended up scoring for the Leafs as well. They dominated the second period, but they had a slow first period start. And when it comes to the playoffs or teams that are better than the Leafs in certain ways, like Vegas, Seattle, they can't afford to do this. So what do you think? Do you think that they'll eventually overcome these slow starts, or like you think it's going to get the better of them? Like what's going on?
They're going to have to come over these slow starts because, like you mentioned, when they play stiffer competition, now you're playing the Flyers and the Red Wings and stuff like that. Now, they did go up to a slow start against, was it Seattle, right? And they couldn't mount a comeback. I think sometimes, I don't know what it is, maybe just because it's like that time in the season where it's kind of like that lull where it just kind of every game passes by and stuff like that. But the Leafs, sometimes I feel like they get up to these slow starts because they think they know they're so much more talented and better than other teams that they can just get up to a slow start and they know they can come back, which is great. It's great to be able to come back from leads and stuff like that, but you can only play with fire for so long. Excuse me. So when I look at the Leafs and when I look at the way they come out of the gates, when these games start meaning more, you're gonna want to set the tone and put your best foot forward right away, right? It's like a boxing fight. You want to land the first punch. You don't want to get punched first because it could knock you out right away. So if I'm Sheldon Keefe and I'm the brass, I'm stressing, get off to better starts. Especially with the goaltending, it was good this weekend, right? But prior to that, it was going through a little struggle, right?
Yeah, it was.
So, especially with that goaltending situation, that you don't have a goalie back there that you can trust that be able to shut the door for the rest of the way after they give a few stinkers, you're gonna have to give the better starts.
You have to. And, kind of going off of that point, too, with the Leafs, it's like when they even start to get a lead, they start to kind of fall back and they start to play a little sloppy. Like, they didn't necessarily play sloppy against Philadelphia. I mean, they capitalized on a lot of turnovers that Philly had because Philly played really sloppy. But, I mean, you had a couple back-to-back goals between, like, the Flyers and the Leafs. Like, to end the first period, you had the Flyers come back to make it a one-goal game again. And then even in the second period, too. But then you had Timmins come in and score again to kind of capitalize on the chance and, like, keep the Leafs in the lead. So that's something that just can't happen with this team. But it does, and Sheldon Keefe really needs to nip this in the butt.
It's a bad habit that you don't want to stick around, right? So
really
I think, like we both just mentioned, like get off to better starts and you'll be fine. Now, again, their offense is so powerful, right, that they can come back from almost any deficit. But when you're playing and the games get tighter and the stakes are higher, you're gonna want to make sure you don't put yourself behind the 8 ball right away.
Well, the Toronto Maple Leafs will be back on home ice, to take on the Nashville Predators on Wednesday.
You're going to the game, right?
I'm going to the game.
Who are you going to be cheering for, though?
The Leafs. What do you mean?
Why are you lying?
Why would I be cheering for Nashville? The Leafs are my hometown. Like, I can't not cheer for them.
That's what you said off camera like 2 minutes ago.
No, he's lying. Nashville's my favorite city, but Toronto's my hometown.
Okay.
I don't know. I guess you guys will see. If you see me at the game and you see what I'm representing, then you're going to know what type of fan I am. Jesus. Anyways, the All-Star game, the NHL All-Star game, it's fast approaching. It really is. But it's quite interesting. So you had the hockey operations pick the initial selection of the roster, and then it's going to open up to fan voting after. Then the fans get to vote in who they think was kind of
the remaining players.
The remaining people and who they think should really be in there, because not everybody that you would think made the All-Stars. And it's quite interesting. We're going to get to that in a bit. But let's just listen to Justin's concept of the whole All-Stars.
I don't like it, to be honest with you. Like, I feel like to have the player ops people vote on it. Okay, I get it. You want it. Sometimes the fans can skew the voting. Remember what happened with John Scott? They voted him into the All-Star game when he should not have been an All-Star at all.
Yeah, but it's the fans.
Exactly. You have to say, like the All-Star game is for kids and for like fans and for corporate sponsors. That's all it's for, right? Like, I don't understand, like, why announce the first 32 and why does it have to be, I get they want one from each team. Some teams are so bad you don't deserve an All-Star anyway, right? Like, to be frank, like, some teams are so bad in this league, you should have no All-Stars, right?
Yeah, you're not wrong.
And I don't understand why the NHL wants, like, when you look at it, right? The NBA, the best of the best, right? The Pro Bowl in the NFL, nobody really cares about, but a lot of people do sit out, but generally you do get the best of the best, right? Baseball, best of the best, right?
Yeah, baseball, yeah.
I don't want to see some guys that played for obscure teams in the NHL in my All-Star game, right? No matter if they're the best player it doesn't make any sense, right? Yeah. I'd rather see, for example, the Leafs, I'd rather see Marner, Matthews, Nylander, and whoever, right? I'd rather see, Draisaitl, McDavid, and whoever, right? I'd rather see Pettersson, Horvat, JT Miller,
of course,
all in the All-Star game, right?
You really want to see JT Miller in the All-Star game after everything that people have been saying about him?
It might make it interesting with his prick-like attitude. It might make it interesting. But what I'm saying is, right, like, I want to see the best players. I don't understand. I get it. You want to make sure every team is represented and all of that, but then you get fraudulent All-Stars. Just let the fans vote, right? Yeah. Or let the players vote, right?
Ooh,
like, just make it simple, make it easy, and don't overcomplicate things. I love the 3-on-3 concept. I think that's awesome, but just make it simple. That's it. You're overcomplicating it, trying to do too much. Just keep it simple, and it will work.
But I feel like with the NHL, nothing is really that simple.
No, the NHL always wants to overthink things, make sure everybody's included, make sure the money is all spread all around, and it just, again,
well, I mean, they lost like because of COVID, so it makes sense. But so, like, talking about the Toronto Maple Leafs, Mitch Marner made the All-Stars.
He was the All-Star selection for the...
But not Matthews or Nylander.
Right.
So, like, now with the fan voting, they get the chance to either vote them in or not.
Which they probably will.
So who do you think should go to the All-Stars?
Do you
think it should be Matthews? Do you think it should be Nylander?
Obviously Matthews, right? Because he's like you go to watch superstars.
You think it should be Matthews this year? I don't.
Obviously, he's a superstar still.
He's a superstar, but this year he has not been a superstar.
Look, again, the NFL, the NHL.
The NHL. I know there's so many leagues.
Talk about everything. The NHL needs to promote their superstars. That's the only way it's going to get bigger in the States.
Promote the superstars.
Promote the superstars, right? That is why Austin Matthews should be there. That is why Connor McDavid should be there. That's why Sidney Crosby. One of the only things about Sidney Crosby that I kind of get on him is he's never really at the All-Star game, right?
No.
He's missed a lot of All-Stars. Now, through injury, just not wanting to play. But you need to promote your superstars if you want to grow the game. That's what the All-Star game is for.
Watching Crosby in the All-Stars game is like watching Bedard.
So he got a great return of Connor Bedard to junior hockey the other day.
Oh, yes. So going off of that point, but it was the Bedard show, the World Juniors. Let's be quite frank here. I mean, everybody was talking about him. The kid is as everyone has been saying, a generational player. He's a true superstar. But a player that has kind of been a tad of a bust, as we can say. I know I learned that word off camera here. Shane Wright. So as you all know, he got drafted to the Seattle Kraken, went to go play for the World Juniors, and now they sent him back down to the O. Are you surprised by this? Because I'm not surprised by this. His performance has not been on par at all. He's been very inconsistent when it came to Seattle. That's why they sent him down to the farm team. And in the World Juniors too, I mean, he should have been the star of the show. Bedard obviously is going to be the star.
I don't know. Bedard still would have been the star of the show.
Fair enough, but Wright should have been right up there next to him. I mean, he should have put up a lot more points, a lot more goals throughout the tournament, but sadly he didn't, and now he got sent down.
I mean, when I think about it, right, he wasn't playing in Seattle. They sent him down to the minors. He played well in the minors. They brought him back up. He scored against Montreal, but he hadn't reached that 10-game mark where he burns the first year of his contract, right? So it's just smart by Seattle to set him down, give him another year of junior hockey. He just got traded to the London Knights, probably go on a playoff run with them. They might even beat the Steelheads in the playoffs. I'm not familiar with the OHL standings or anything.
Can we not talk about this right
now?
I
don't really know, but okay.
But London is leading in their conference.
Okay. I'm more of a WHL type of guy myself.
Of course, yeah, because you're from that side. Yeah, there you go. Makes sense.
But send him back, get him some more time in junior. Bring him back next year. You still have that 3-year entry-level deal, and see what happens. I'm not ready to call him bust just yet. Then that's kind of harsh.
I think the guy was supposed to go first overall, okay? And that didn't even happen.
It's been a rough year for him. It's been a rough year.
It's been a rough year. I mean, maybe bust was a harsh word, but going off of what has happened right now and the expectation we have put on him, it is a bust.
Okay.
It is.
For sure.
I mean, but maybe next season or so and
give him time.
Then we'll see.
He's still 19, so let's see what happens. He goes back to junior. Hopefully he dominates in the OHL. comes back.
Oh, he will.
And maybe this stint in junior will give him his confidence back. He just starts, going on a tear once again, dominating, and then he'll be able to come back with more confidence and hopefully take off in the NHL.
Hopefully. But quickly before we end off, I just want to say it was his 19th birthday too, and like what a birthday gift that is to get sent back down to the O. Think about
You got to ride the buses instead of the private planes now.
Yeah. Anyways, thank you all for listening on the Homestand TV. I'm your host, Celine Markey, alongside my co-host, Justin Pooney.